everyone, it's Sean and welcome back to Having Fun Repairs. I'm about to demonstrate for you something that I just got some tools for to rectify an issue I created for myself several years ago. As I demonstrate this for you, it will also become a service that I'll provide with my business here in Oklahoma. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video and you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing and like this video if you enjoyed the content. If you want to know about the business side of things, my Google site's in the description, or if you just want to donate to the channel to help me procure random things from eBay and junkyards to repair, just to make more content, and then by all means, please use the PayPal in the description, no obligation. But thank you for watching, and let's get to the content of this video. Okay, let me explain for you what I have here. Kind of exploded over my mat. Okay, now two keys came with my car, cut keys. Okay, this one and this one. And over the years, the key fobs themselves got extremely tore up, and so and the circuit boards in them were starting to get destroyed as well, just from use. So I decided what I would do is I would buy two uncut key fobs, okay, and I would transplant over as much as I could to kind of have a refresh on my keys. And so what I did is I removed the bottom halves of my old keys and stuck them onto the top halves of the new keys. And there's a reason for that. You can see that these were the two old keys. Their bottom halves are really destroyed. Okay, and then I took apart the top portion of my old keys, and I didn't obviously swap out the actual key because they are cut and these were not. But the push buttons that sit in here that are spring loaded, kind of an exploded view right here. I moved the new push buttons and springs over to the old tops with the old keys, and then put the old push buttons in here. Okay, and so that gave me a nice decent set of key fobs, but I kind of wanted to at one point also use the new tops. And so what I tried to do, and there's a reason why I've taken this one apart, because this is an old top on a new key bottom, is the RFID that tells the car that this is a key that can be used with it. That's going to be way too blurry. Let me get this underneath the microscope and you can see what I need to show you. Okay, microscope is up. Hopefully you can see that there. Here goes the inside clamshell to one of the old tops. Let me scoot it over. You see this capsule right here? That's what I was previously mentioning, and you see how it's cracked? Yeah, I did something I shouldn't have done. What I tried to do was tear apart this plastic a bit and using alcohol soften up the glue around this capsule to see if I could pop it out and then press it into the new top. Because I was thinking to myself, if I just simply moved it over, then I could you know, use a new top and not have to worry about programming a new key. Now, programming key fobs is one thing. You can do that with a VCDS and a specialized cable. Again, this is a product that cost me around $600 between this and the software. So obviously, if you're looking to have a key fob program for the buttons to work, you know, if you're willing to spend that money, you can do that with VCDS. But the one thing you cannot do with VCDS is encode a new capsule. And what that essentially does, that capsule, is it communicates with the car, so that way when the key is inserted and it's turned on, it recognizes it as a key that's used through the instrument cluster panel, okay, or your instrumentation panel. So hey, the car will stay running. Well, because this one right here is broke right here, I can turn the car on and it will run for a second, but it throws up a key indicator saying that it doesn't recognize the key and shuts the car right back off. Well, unfortunately, that means that I now have to program these, which if you go to a dealership to do, is going to cost you a lot of money, and money you probably don't want to spend. So what I have done is I have gotten a programmer that allows me to read the security code on my vehicle. I bought this off of eBay. It came in from China. It took a while to get in here, but it's used on the same family of vehicles: Audi, Porsche, Volkswagen, etc. No different than a Rostec, genuine Rostec hex plus CAN cable for VCDS. Okay, so I can now read the security codes and then dump that security code into VCDS for not just programming the key fobs, but for writing to these RFID capsules, so that way I can have two sets of keys now that will operate my vehicle. And so that's what this video is about. Now, unless if you're willing to spend the money on stuff like this, it might not be really worth it for you. Maybe you're just more okay with just using one key. I like to have two sets because I have a tendency of losing things. Just ask my wife. But once I go through this and demonstrate how it works, this will be a service that I will offer for this family of cars with my business here in Oklahoma City. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this new bottom portion that was on my old top, and I'm going to move. Let me turn off my microscope for a second. Okay, that's better. I'm going to transplant this key, this push button, the spring, over into one of these tops, and then we're going to not just program the key fobs, but program the RFID so that the vehicle knows that this will be a key that can be used with it. Okay? For a second, the old post broke off in the old PCB. I thought for a second if I could clear them out, I could just simply transplant this old PCB from the old bottom into the new bottom and new PCB, so I wouldn't have to go through recoding the fob as well. But the post holes don't necessarily line up, so we're just going to go through the whole fob. There is enough space on this PCB that I could enlarge in this hole and get it to work, but that's another effort for another time. Not too concerned. So now I just need to get this clamshell back together and move over the components from the old top into the new top. And as well, the new top does have this same little RFID capsule sitting in the top. at some point I will also swap out the top and RFD on this side, but for demonstration purposes I'm going to show you one good key and how it should function, and one that will need an RFID programmed, as well as the key fob. Made sure to test the batteries out that came out of the old shells as well, just to see if any were still holding a voltage I could use, and I was able to transplant over one battery in order to have these little red LEDs light up. But anyways, let's get out to the vehicle. Now here goes the older key fob. Obviously it's going to work for locking and unlocking the car. If you have an older Volkswagen that doesn't do this, I can also program this with VCDS. So you can roll down and roll up your windows with your key fob. But I don't remember if I ever programmed this one, so we're going to check it out. And it appears that I did, so at least I got that far on it. But with VCDS I can also remove the beeps, the horns. I can do quite a bit of things as far as programming to a Volkswagen. But let's get inside the car and I'll show you what happens when I use the top out of this one that doesn't have that RFID program. Okay, so here goes the key fob with the the old RFID. This one should work. You see, car starts up just fine. Obviously I got door open, handbrake is on, my seatbelt's not on, so I got some warning lights. Let me show you the other one. Again, this one right here with the unprogrammed RFID. You see that indicator right there? It's telling you it didn't recognize the key. It will start for a second because I've got the right key in there, but the RFID is not programmed. That is only something that you can traditionally get resolved at a dealership unless you have the right tools. So let's start using the tools I have to program this. Now, most often, if you had a older Volkswagen, say a Mark IV, you were given the pin in order to do this yourself, if you still purchase like something like VCDS. Typically that RFID is referred to as an immobilizer, but when it came to the Mark V Volkswagens and upwards, you were no longer given the PIN code, and thus were pretty much forced to go to a dealership to get this done, unless if somebody had spent a lot of money in order to, basically do what I'm about to do. But anyways, so I've got my device here and I'm going to read the pin, and I might have to excuse me, a bit under the weather. This device allows me to read the pin code from the instrument cluster panel that we can use for VCDS. It gives you two functions, basically read pin code and key learning, but I'm not going to use that function. It's probably blurred out anyways because of how bright that screen is and the autofocus of my phone's camera. But anyways, I am going to read the pin code, and right now it's saying reading pin. And again, regardless of this is blurred out here, I'm going to have to make it extra blurry because I don't want anybody other than me to have the pin for my instrument cluster panel. Actually, I had to take my working key and turn my ignition onto the accessory position to get this to operate as it should, but it did spit out a 4-digit code for me, which I can now use inside of VCDS. And just to show that it is safe for me to use this device, I will remove my old key and I will start back up my car. Alright. Hey, one thing to note is it's important to have all three keys that your car, if it came with three, that you were given when you purchased it, on you prior to coding your Immobilizer chip or RFID. I have logged into VCDS, got my Rostec cable plugged in on a select control module, and I'm going to go to the Immobilizer 25, and I need to grant security access. Now I'm going to punch in that number I was given. Preceding that number, because it was a 4-digit number, I'm going to put a 0, and then I'll click do it. Security access accepted. Yay! Now I'm going to select up Adaptation from this drop down menu, Immobilizer Key Adaptation, and it is reading it, saying that I have 3 keys, and I'm going to go to Test. Alright, let's do the first key. We see that it's learned. Second key. We see it flash for a second and learned. Now going for the third key. And third key is done as well now. Okay, now for if I needed to program the actual buttons on the key fob again, with my last key in the ignition, I am now heading to 46 Central Convenience. Then I'm going to Adaptation. First going to click Read, click Save. Are you sure? Yes. Then I'm going to drop down box, Remote Control Adaptation. Alright, I'm changing it from 1 to 2 since I'll be using 2 key fobs. Then I'll click Save. It's going to say, are you sure? Then I'll say yes. And then I'm going to hit a button on my key fob, and the lights blinked outside, and I'll show you this other one. Alright, and now both of these key fobs are fully adapted, and I can start my car with all 3 keys now, and then with the 2 fobs control everything, locking and unlocking of my car. And just as a final test, here's the remote on the first key fob. Locked, unlocked, all unlocked, locked, and that's still working. And new program key fob, locked, unlocked, all doors unlocked, locked. Let's roll the windows down. Hey, I like it. Cool beans. Well, there you go, ladies and gents. All 3 keys being remarried to the Immobilizer through their little RFID chips that are inside of them, and then these 2 key fobs reprogrammed to be able to control the locking and unlocking and rolling up and down the windows and opening of the trunk. So yeah, not much to it. You've seen the process and what it takes to do it. Again, that requires specialized tools, some of which is a bit pricey, so I don't suspect a whole lot of people are actually going to own these unless you go to a locksmith. Now if you were to get a brand new key and from say the dealer and actually have to get it cut, you're probably looking in the price range of about $300 or so. But yeah, there you go. And again, I can do quite a few different vehicles with these. Audi, Porsche, Volkswagen. I think a few Bentleys is in that software as well. There's a lot of European vehicles like Skoda. But hey, well, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're looking to get a repair such as this, then just visit my Google site, link in the description. You can fill out a form and send in a request, and we can go from there. As always, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.
Bart?